house. Nothing might pass this to the jury. No.
Yeah.
We knew that, you know, they had heat on Dolph and them head or whatever, so.
Who had a hit on whose head?
Big Jook had a hit on Dolph head or whatnot, so.
How do you know that Big Jook had a hit on Dolph's head?
But Quick had told me about it, Quick, and, you know what I'm saying, being just.
How much money was it supposed to be?
$100,000 on Dolph head.
And had you agreed to do this hit?
Yes, sir.
Had Justin agreed to do this hit?
Yes, sir.
We all going to do it together?
Yeah, they been on me to it. Yeah.
Where's your father's house?
Out of Lamar Sims.
Orange Mound area?
Yeah.
Had either you called him or he called you or anything like this?
He called me the first time I missed the call. Then he called me back, I answered. He was telling me basically they were pulling up because we already knew what was going on.
When you say you already knew what was going on, you already knew that this was about?
Yeah, because we knew they were doing a turkey drive, so we was actually on our way to Westwood.
Had you and Justin talked about this particular day before?
Like, nah, not the specific day. Like, we just knew that it was turkey drive going every day that week.
Okay. You knew that, the fair said you knew Dolph was involved in these turkey drives this week before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we didn't know we were going to catch him, but we knew he did his artist. You know, everybody had a hit on the head. Everybody had a price on the head.
From Jook?
Yeah, from Jook.
And that was going to be y'all's business this week?
Yeah, that was our meeting week.
When he arrived at the house, do you remember what he was driving?
White Mercedes-Benz.
Okay, had you seen that car before?
Nah, I ain't never saw that car. We went to the club together. We've been around each other a couple times.
Okay. And for the record, I know that it's a formality, but for the record, can you point him out in the courtroom and tell me what he's wearing and stuff?
Yeah, the young brother over there with the button-down shirt, blue and white button-down shirt.
If the record could reflect that he's identified the defendant, Mr. Justin Johnson, Your Honor.
Let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant in court.
So how did you get to be with Justin Johnson this day on November 17th, 2021?
We knew that, you know, they had heat on.
I'm Fox 13 News Midday. I'm Dominique Dillon. And first at midday, the trial over young Dolph's murder begins. Opening statements are underway, and we're already hearing major revelations from court. Assistant DA Paul Hagerman says Yo Gotti's late brother, Big Jook, put out a $100,000 hit for whoever killed young Dolph, then met with the two suspects before the shooting.
Multiple sources told Fox 13 Jeremy Pierre that Justin Johnson will be the first to stand trial today. Johnson is one of the alleged shooters who shot and killed Dolph in November 2021. He was one of the 4 people charged in that case. The others are Cornelius Smith, the second accused shooter, along with alleged mastermind Hernandez Govan. A 4th person, Jamarcus Johnson, took a plea deal last year, admitting to being an accessory after the fact. We do know that the jury has already been selected and brought in from Nashville for this trial. Fox 13 will be here every step of the way.
Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Y'all glorify the wrong shit, bro. Y'all glorify talking about this man a king. How the fuck is a nigga a king if a nigga got a man 14 years in jail? If a nigga got his friend broke out here? My best friend got money. My best friend not broke. You hear me? Niggas around me, come around me, don't be broke, bro. I make sure I find a way. I go on tour and sacrifice myself so they can get some money, bro. Y'all talking about a nigga a king that don't even own nothing in his neighborhood. Everybody around that motherfucker selling drugs and robbing and killing. He ain't not one time came over and told no nigga, hey man, let me help you. Nigga up $100 million. Man, y'all nigga gotta stop this shit, bro. If I had $100 million, the whole Memphis would be mine. And I own, bro, I would help everybody. I would, every neighborhood I'd come through that motherfucker and bless people with jobs and buy businesses and give out free loans. And you don't gotta pay nothing back, bro. You heard me? How a nigga king that get niggas put in jail, bro?
Since a puss ass nigga wanna puss a man on my boy head, if you want a juke pack, we gonna make money off a nigga now. If you want a juke pack, holla at Pastros right now. Click this link. Juke pack. Fuck you talking about, nigga. Y'all putting 100,000 on my boy. I just made 20,000 off your stupid ass, nigga. If you want a junk pack, please check in. That's how fast I make money on a bitch. Junk packs for sale. Hit Pastros. Click the link. You got the best highs and lows. Junk pack.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
Four person? If you would stand and read your verdict, please.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder as charged in count 1 of the indictment. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree murder as charged in count 2 of the indictment. And we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of convicted felon in possession of a firearm as charged in count 3 of the indictment.
Thank you. Juror number 1, is that your verdict? Juror number 34, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 35, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 11, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 14, is that your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror number 17, is that your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror number 27, is that your verdict?
It is, Your Honor.
Juror number 33, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 25, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 44, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 23, is that your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror number 28, is that your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for your time and attention to this matter this week. Our system of self-government would not work without your service and sacrifice that you've made. Thanks again for your time and attention. You are excused.
Jurors excused.
Mr. Johnson, the jury having found you guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and convicted felon in possession of a firearm. As the 13th juror, I affirm this verdict. As to the first-degree murder, I sentence you to life in prison. I will set punishment as to the conspiracy and the convicted felon in possession of a firearm after a sentencing hearing. The date for that hearing will be November 1st?
Yes, Your Honor.
November 1st. There's nothing else to take up?
We will prepare the judgment sheet and pass that forward, Judge.
Thank you. And the pre-sentence report. The order for the pre-sentence report.
The servants will get that. We'll get those to you.
Thank you. You may adjourn court.
All rise. This honorable court stands adjourned to Monday morning at 9 a.m.
Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
What was the reaction from Justin Johnson when that verdict was read?
Yeah, pretty stoic, Greg. This was about minutes ago. I watched him as that all guilty charge came down. Didn't really see much emotion from him. We're actually waiting right here now outside of the courtroom to see if anyone will talk to us from the prosecutor's standpoint. But again, we know that Justin Johnson has been found guilty on all charges. We're talking about conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and convicted felon in possession of a firearm. Now, right shortly after, the judge did sentence him to life in prison. And we do know that juries made a decision in just about 4 hours. They originally went in around noon, and right about the 4 o'clock mark, that's when we heard that that verdict was coming in. And we know that all eyes have been on Memphis all week since Monday when this trial started for young Dolph. And we know that justice for this family, for friends, for fans, they've been waiting on this for about 3 years. And all it took was just about 4 hours for jurors to decide the fate of Justin Johnson. Again, guilty on all counts by jurors and also sentenced to life in prison by a judge. We are standing by right now as people come out of the courtroom to figure out what is next, if we will hear from anyone, hear from family. So we will, of course, keep you posted, Greg, as more information comes in.
All right, Quimitra, thank you very much. As we take a look at some of these pictures, kind of a retrospective of young Dolph, keep in mind he was a proud South Memphian. He had fans all over the country, even the world, but it was his hometown fans who loved him the most. He gave back to his community often. Remember his Thanksgiving giveaways? In fact, it was just days before that people were targeting him. In fact, he had been targeted a number of times before. In Los Angeles one time, he was fired at. And then they ultimately found him again there at Makita's Cookies. And that's the day that ended his life. We're going to take you now out to the DA, Steve Mulroy. He's on the scene. Let's listen to what he has to say about this verdict.
Justice has been done in this case, and we will continue to make sure that all of those who are responsible for young Dolph's death receive the punishment they deserve. And I want to give a hearty congratulations to the trial team, not only Paul Hagerman and Iris Williams, but everybody involved who really worked very hard on this case and got a great result and did a great job. So congratulations to them, and I'd sure like to have them speak to you as well.
I think it's been a long, hard week for everybody. It's been a long, hard week for Dolph's family too. That they're back behind us. It's been a process getting here, a couple of years now, and great result this week. A lot of hard work went into it. A lot of love from their family went into it, and appreciate the jury verdict, and we did it.
Let me ask you this: a lot of people, and we've been posing this question to Mr. D.A. Mulroy for all week. Hernandez Govan. the importance of having him involved obviously wasn't important. Can you speak on that?
I mean, you saw the proof at the trial, and obviously we heard other names about people's involvement. There's two defendants, there's Mr. Smith and Mr. Govan, whose cases are not disposed of yet. We have to proceed one at a time. Mr. Johnson first, and that business finishes today, and we'll move on to the other defendants.
And when you heard the defense in their closing argument basically point out that DNA on that car, how did you all attack that? Because obviously it was 3 people's DNAs that was found on that car, but Justin Johnson's wasn't.
Yeah, so you got the facts you got, and you got the evidence you got. We heard testimony that the car had been wiped down and clean, and we know it was moved and everything else, and we were able to explain to the jury why those 3 individuals' fingerprints were in that car. And so, I mean, the jury heard all the proof and they understood it, and I think we painted a real clear picture of both before, during, and after the murder. The investigation did a fabulous job of highlighting sort of all 3 of those times and answering a lot of questions that in a lot of murder cases you never get answered. We had a strong case and it went good.
And I'd like to add also, I should also be complimenting the law enforcement investigative team. They did an excellent job in this case, and I don't want to leave them out. You don't always get fingerprint evidence. You don't always get DNA evidence in every case, and it is certainly possible to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt with any of that, and the proof in the pudding is what happened today.
Now, we haven't heard from the family, understandably so far, but you have worked closely with them. What have their emotions been like throughout the trial, and especially today, given that news?
Well, in the trial, during this trial, they have been patient, and they've been together the whole time, you know, and they small little room they're in before they go in the courtroom. I know this thing's been hard for them, but they've been a unit, and they've been, you know, solid with each other and solid with us during this trial. This is a hard trial, and they've been great during it.
You made a point in there to highlight how corroborating evidence was one of the most important aspects of your case, and the fact that witness testimony lined up with corroborating evidence. If you want to speak to that.
Well, it's just so important. I mean, I think that sometimes when you try, particularly, you know, violent cases like this, sometimes your witnesses are not the best characters. I think, like I told the jury, there's many witnesses over the cases, you know, I've tried through the years. I wouldn't trust them with my car keys or whatever else. But when you can point to other evidence that corroborates their testimony and their account and proves to you that what they're saying, despite who they are, is true, then that's incredibly important in a trial.
What's next? I did.
And what were the results of that test?
It was the active ingredient of marijuana was detected.
So, as to the total entry wounds to this victim, how many were there?
20.
20, okay. How about the exit wounds?
4.
Okay. And within a reasonable degree of medical certainty, did you render an opinion as to the cause of this victim's death?
I did.
But what was the cause of that?
Gunshot wounds of the head, torso, and neck.
Okay. And did you render an opinion as to the manner of death?
I did.
And what was your opinion?
Homicide.
Yes, sir. The chain around his neck, is that the PRE chain? Yes, sir. The one that we saw in the exhibit? Yes, sir. And there's Marcus behind him? Yes, sir.
Tisha Jackson.
It's my baby mom, my kid mom.
Okay. Now, I think you said, well, let me ask you this, was the day that you shot Dolph, but the day before that, did you know you were going to shoot Dolph?
Nah, I ain't know nothing about it, but I ain't know we were gonna catch Dolph or nothing. But the next day was the day we caught Dolph, that was my baby girl's birthday, to be honest.
Okay.
And I know I told her about a house, buying them a house and all that because I knew that they already had hits on everybody's head and we was out looking for somebody. We didn't know we were going to catch Dolph. We didn't know who we were going to catch.
Is that why it was a particularly big day for you?
What you mean big day?
Well, you text Miss Jackson, let's see, 9:05 a.m. on November 17th, 2021, you say, good morning. I went to sleep in the midst of texting you to knowing today is my big day.
My baby birthday. My daughter's birthday.
November 17th?
Yeah, my daughter.
You went and killed a man on your daughter's birthday?
Hey, I'm trying to make it right for her. I ain't had no money. I'm trying to get some money that day. So I'm trying to make sure my baby girl, man, have a beautiful birthday. So it was whatever. Then I'm trying to get high on pills.
However, the craziest twist in this trial is that the people who carried out Dolph's were seriously shortchanged. They were promised $40,000, but when the dust settled, they only ended up with $800. Fans are stunned that a legendary figure like young Dolph was taken out for such a small amount of money. Some are even saying that Dolph would have given them that $800 just to help out if they had asked. Meanwhile, Yo Gotti has been nowhere to be found, with fans speculating that he's laying low, maybe knowing that things are closing in on him. Let's break down what's been happening in court. Justin Johnson, also known as the rapper Straight Drop, was the first one to appear. He's accused of being the driver of the white Mercedes that trailed Dolph's camo Corvette to Makeda's Cookies in South Memphis. His co-defendant, Cornelius Smith, allegedly jumped out of the car and opened fire on Dolph with a Draco, while Justin followed closely behind with a handgun. An autopsy would later reveal that Dolph had been shot 22 times.
So y'all?
Yeah, this is right there.
Stop it here.
It's me.
Can you stop it? We're gonna back up. This guy out of the car, who's that?
It's me.
That's you? Which one of the guns do you have?
I got the little Draco stab gun.
Okay, that's that semi-automatic weapon, is that right?
Yeah.
What makes this even more tragic is that Dolph wasn't alone during the attack. His brother, Marcus Thornton, was with him in the store when the shots rang out. The leg.
Watch the rest of the video here. Did y'all see Marcus getting a second gun from his car?
Nah, but when we pulled out.
On the first day of the trial, things got even more intense when Cornelius, who has now turned into a cooperating witness, testified against Justin. Cornelius's story is a sad one. He admitted to struggling with addiction after losing his 9-year-old son just 3 months before
I lost my son in March of 2020.
Okay. And how old was he?
He was 9 at the time.
And that had an impact on everybody?
Yes, sir.
To cope with the pain, he turned to ecstasy and oxycodone, and when he was promised money, he saw no other way out. He revealed in court that he didn't even know who young Dolph was, and that the day Dolph was actually his daughter's birthday. Cornelius seemed like a man at the end of his rope, desperate for cash and easy to manipulate. As Govin, who was connected to CMG, played a key role in arranging the hit. Justin was desperate to blow up in the rap game, and he thought that taking out Dolph would get him in good with CMG. Hernandez, knowing how to exploit the situation, took advantage of Cornelius, feeding his drug habit and using him as a pawn in the plot. The plan itself was cold-blooded. Cornelius knew that Dolph would be in the neighborhood because of his annual turkey giveaway, an event where Dolph would give back to his community by handing out free turkeys to those in need. But rather than caring about the volunteers or families in attendance, the killer only saw it as the perfect opportunity to strike.
There was turkey drive going every day that week.
Okay. You knew that, the fair said you knew Dolph was involved in these turkey drives this week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we didn't know we were going to catch him, but you know.
They spotted Dolph's camo-wrapped Corvette while he was driving through town and decided to follow him, waiting for the right moment to ambush him outside Makeda's Cookies.
What'd y'all do?
We made the block. Came with the bag way. I jumped out. Started shooting.
All right, well, let's back up here, though.
After young Dolph was murdered, Justin Johnson reportedly FaceTimed Big Juke, and using sign language, spelled out Dolph's name to let Juke know they had carried out the hit. According to Cornelius, Yuk promised they'd see each other soon and that payments would be on the way. The plan was to pay Hernandez Govin $20,000 for organizing the hit and to give $40,000 each to Justin and Cornelius. That was supposed to total $100,000, but things didn't go as expected.
I'm gonna give him $10,000 apiece.
All right, so you and him are going to give Govan $10,000 apiece? And how much are you going to get?
I was getting 40.
Fast forward to January 13th, 2024, and Big Juk himself was gunned down outside a restaurant. Videos of Juk's lifeless body hit social media almost immediately, with fans and foes flooding the comments with young Dolph emojis. If Juk hadn't been it's almost certain he would have been charged in Dolph case too. The streets had already served their version of justice before the courts could even catch up. At this point, everyone tied to Dolph's murder has been arrested. Justin's brother, Jamarcus, became the fourth person charged in the case for helping Justin escape after the shooting. He's already pled guilty to 3 counts of accessory after the fact and is looking at a 6 to 12-year sentence. Justin, Hernandez, and Cornelius, on the other hand, are all facing serious charges with overwhelming evidence against them. With Cornelius flipping and testifying as the main witness, it's highly likely that life sentences are coming for both Justin and Hernandez. The prosecution has been clear with Cornelius, though. Just because he's cooperating doesn't mean he's off the hook. He's still going to prison, no matter what. One of the most disturbing parts of Cornelius's testimony was when he admitted that the day he helped Dolph was also his daughter's birthday. When the prosecutor asked him, "You went and man on your daughter's birthday?" Cornelius replied, "I was trying to make it rain for her. I wanted to make it a beautiful day for her." Instead of being a father to his 5 kids and spending time with his daughter, Cornelius, a man strung out on drugs, shot down a Memphis legend for just $800 and a promise that never came through. Now he's going to prison, and we'll just have to wait to see how long his sentence will be. But while the legal system is finally bringing some justice for young Dolph, the streets have been handling things their own way ever since the day he was killed. The moment Dolph was taken down, the streets erupted. His crew didn't waste any time. They were ready to get revenge immediately, taking out anyone who was involved or even had the nerve to mock Dolph's death. The first target was a grim example of what was in store for anyone involved in young Dolph or connected to those responsible. Comedian Darian D. Moneychilds made the mistake of joking about Dolph's passing in an online post. Just a week later, he was already gunned down. His marked the beginning of a streak of revenge that couldn't be stopped. In January 2022, another high-profile target was taken out. Big Nusky, a rapper signed to Moneybagg Yo and cousin of Big 30, was shot at the New Horizon River Apartments on Kazasa Road around 7 p.m. When the shooting stopped, a 26-year-old man lay dead. Big Nusky was said to be connected to Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, one of the main suspects in Dolph's murder. This connection was speculated based on photos showing both of them standing in front of the same car. After Big Nusky's death, Straight Drop posted a picture of him online, captioned, "Lost my brother, fighting to keep my head up." The pain was real, but Dolph's people weren't finished yet. Straight Drop and the others charged with Dolph's murder allegedly had ties not only to CMG and Yo Gotti, but also to the Memphis gang Trula Mafia. The OG of this gang, Joshua Taylor, aka CEO TZ, was also on the cops' radar for the Dolph hit. However, TZ wouldn't be around much longer. On June 14, 2023, officers responded to a call about a man down at Spotswood Avenue near Bunton Street at 12:56 p.m. They found Taylor suffering from gunshot wounds, dead at the scene. Reports suggested that he had actually been shot the night before and was discovered lifeless in a car near a church around 1 p.m.
Tellis Taylor, also known as CEO TZ, was found shot to death in Orange Mound Wednesday at Spotswood and Bunton. Those who live nearby tell us Taylor was actually shot the night before, discovered lifeless.
News outlets labeled TZ as a high-profile gang member and linked him publicly to the group that Dolph. YouTube journalist King AK even speculated that Straight Drop would have needed TZ's go-ahead to carry out the hit on Dolph, implying that by taking out TZ, Dolph's crew was eliminating a key figure.
TZ ain't just no gang member. TZ was the head of Trula Mafia. That means if anybody that's in Trula got anything to do with young Dolph's death, Justin Johnson. TZ at the end of the day gives the okay.
The cycle of revenge didn't stop there. The next shocking casualty was a female rapper, Destiny Golden, aka Lotta Cash Desto. Her demonstrated that no one was off limits. On September 24th, 2022, Desto was with a female friend in the 5500 block of Richmond Avenue around 2:40 a.m. when they stopped behind a dark four-door vehicle at a traffic light. Two male shooters emerged from the dark vehicle, walked up to Desto's car, and opened fire, Desto and injuring her passenger. This brutal attack led many to believe it was another act of retribution for young Dolph's. In a twist that nobody saw coming, another person linked to orchestrating young Dolph's hit was none other than Lotta Cash Desto's father, Hernandez Govan.
Govan asked for young Dolph to be.
Mr. Govan has been indicted and is in custody for being involved in the young Dolph. He played the role of the person who solicited.
After he was arrested, he posted online, hinting that his own actions might have led to his daughter's tragic death. It seemed like the pieces of this deadly puzzle were falling into place, with every new victim connecting back to Dolph's. Dolph's people were relentless, and their next target proved just that. On August 18th, 2023, the Memphis Police Department reported that gunfire erupted around 9:30 a.m. at a BP gas station on South Parkway East. Officers responded to the scene and found a man with a fatal gunshot wound. Tamanuel Benson, Black Youngsta's brother. The shooter didn't even bother masking up, and the police had a clear image of him, which they released to the public along with a $5,000 reward for information. This brazen hit, carried out in broad daylight, was another message that Dolph's crew wasn't playing around. Tamanuel's death pointed fingers straight at PRE, Paper Route Empire, Dolph's crew. Black Youngsta had a long-standing beef with Dolph, initially inherited from Yo Gotti. Back in 2017, Black Youngsta was arrested for an attempt on Dolph's life when over 100 shots were fired at Dolph's black SUV. The feud between Black Youngsta and Dolph had been intense, with Black Youngsta always ready for a showdown.
Where we at right now, cuz? We in Cascade right now, cuz. What Dolph at, cuz? Where he at, cuz? Where he at? Where he at right now? Where he at? Where he at? Where he at?
Now, he was left to grapple with the pain and anger of losing his brother, caught up in the vicious cycle of revenge allegedly carried out by Dolph's people. And then, finally, Big Jook. Ironically, Big Jook was attending a funeral when he met his own end. This is why fans are now saying that with young Dolph's trial underway, the anger in the streets might flare up again, and people could start getting targeted once more. This time, Yo Gotti might not be so lucky, which is why he's supposedly laying low.